1.7 trillion Ugandan shillings. That is how much the government of Uganda could fork out if a request by over 60 companies is backed and approved by the executive. That amount is slightly below the annual budget for the Ministry of Defense, one of the most funded ministries. Some of the listed companies include Simba Group, owned by businessman Patrick Bitature, Roofing Steel Mills, Steel Rolling Mills Limited, Horo Investment Holdings, owned by Amina Hassi, Seren Suits, Carbonero Grain Millers Company, Shumuk Aluminium Industries, and Club Silk, among others.
If you look at the structure of the economy and the structure of the management of the fundamentals, you realize that definitely is going to be a problem. You have a high cost of borrowing.
Sources told NTV that the meetings for the bailout started days after the general election. Mooted by Patrick Bitature, whose company appears on the list, they were attended by President Yoweri Museveni's brother, General Caleb Akandwanaho, commonly known as Salim Saleh, businessman Godfrey Chirumira, the Executive Director of Private Sector Foundation, Gideon Badagawa, among others. Bitature and Badagawa are said to have advanced the need for government to come to the rescue of the businesses, whom they said were choking on big debts. But it's the process of how these businesses were arrived at that remains shrouded in mystery.
What we also don't know is, has it been determined at this stage that if these particular companies are rescued, you'll have an overall positive effect on the economy? Isn't it possible that after rescuing these ones, others will also appear?
Criticism has also been raised on the nature of some of the businesses listed. Economic observers say some of the businesses listed do not bring direct benefits to the country's economy.
And the major criteria used usually is the tax which the company pays to government. And today I was seeing in the list of 100 top tax-paying companies, and only one of these companies is there.
Is this a message that micro, small, and medium businesses do not matter? They can as well go ahead to collapse, and then once you are big, you can risk, you can do this and that, and then government will bail you out.
The companies that should actually be bailed out are the ones which are paying taxes. Two, they are employing a specific number of people. And when you look at some of these companies that want to bail out, most of them are in non-tradables.
Some of them are nightclubs and betting companies, which opponents of the bailout say do not meet the country's immediate goals.
As a country feel we need to relax the system a bit, we need to bail out businesses, then that system ought to be extremely transparent.
And this one is questionable whether we can have a bailout, whether due diligence is conducted.
Here that out, for instance, Hughes would say, as a country we are focusing on industrialization, we are focusing on manufacturing. Therefore, we shall prioritize manufacturing businesses because they are in the strategic interest of the country.
The bailout process is not new. In the United States, for instance, the Obama administration bailed out its biggest car maker, General Motors, when in 2010 it swayed towards bankruptcy and liquidation. The bailout would see an unprecedented $80 billion injection into the country's auto industry. So in all fairness, some would argue that the bailout would save many Ugandans from a potential wave of unemployment. And yet, this is still doubtable. Professor Nuwagaba says some of the businesses are genuinely distressed amid pressure for cheap Chinese imports, the South Sudan crisis, and the 2016 general election.
We know for sure that China has distorted the steel market worldwide. China has actually dumped cheap steel.
And Dr. Mahomza contends that this is a necessary evil to help the country restructure its economy and for these businesses to think twice on their investments.
We have to bear with this. People have got to make the right business decisions, read the market signals very well, and if the market is not responding to your strategy as a business, you've got to change your strategy because you don't expect the market to change.
We must get long-term financing because what we currently have is people have short-term sources of finance for long-term investments.
When NTV contacted some of these companies, many declined to speak on camera. Club Silk's Elvis Sejanzi said he had no comment, while Roofing Steel Mills denied the bailout claims in an email sent to NTV. The email, signed off by the group's chairman Dr. Sikanda Lalani, reads in part, and I quote, We hereby confirm that Roofings Group has never sought for any form of government bailout using taxpayers' money. Our request to the government of Uganda has always been and is to ensure availability of affordable financing for short and long-term projects, especially in the steel sector, which contributes substantially to the development of infrastructure and provision of affordable shelter to Uganda and the region. However, NTV has learned that Roofings is one of the most indebted of all those named. Business owners say government should not be in the business of giving out handouts or bailouts. What it should instead do is create an enabling environment where all businesses can be able to thrive, which they say is not happening now. Shouldn't do today. NTV, Kampala.